Hey guys, welcome back. Today I have a pretty cool video for you. We're going to be creating a simple game launcher in C# for our Unity games, or any kind of game or exe you want to launch. It's all pretty straightforward. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be working in Visual Studio. So if you don't have that, go in the description below. There's links to get the free copy. It's awesome. You should be using that, especially working with Unity now. So the idea for this is I want to be able to launch something. It's an exe that we're going to build out, and I want to be able to launch it and display information I want to display to the user, to the player. Unity has a built-in launcher, but as we all know, it is awful. It is absolutely terrible. There's nothing we can do with it. So we can make our own, and we can override not override, but remove using the default launcher and build our own thing. That way we can display updates and stuff to the user, and if we can get it more advanced with it, if you want to go a bit further with it, you could add the ability to patch files for your game. Pretty cool stuff. So I want to show you what I have so far. It's very, very simple, like I said. What we have is it's a simple application. I have the title of the game, and I have, this is just dummy data. None of this is linked up to anything. None of this is. The version number is just dummy data. The title, I don't even know what that is. That's fine. But then we have a little content stream here that's pulling from a website. It's pulling from a website I have stored on Google Drive. And this way I can actually go to the website and add information to the website and not have to update the actual client itself. It just pulls from each time it loads. That's pretty cool. And this is just using, right now, it's using a web browser component, which is not ideal. I mean, the web browser idea is a good idea, but the built-in one for .NET, the Visual Studio web browser component, is kind of awful. So you may want to look into using something like a Chromium wrapper for your .NET application. Now, you could use that. There's a couple options. I'll have a couple in the description for you, so you can check that out. They're very easy to get set up. I just didn't want to add any extra stuff to this whenever we're just trying to accomplish a game launcher. I mean, that's not necessary for it, so I just kind of left it out. And what we can do is there is two buttons. There's two buttons. We could add as many buttons as we want. That's not the point of this, but one goes to the website, and that says launch the game for some reason. It does not do that. I messed that up. And one plays the game. Now what this does, it just goes to a website, and it will take you to my current in development website. I think it's pretty done. I'm not ready to talk about it yet, but if you want to check it out, offofmedia.com, the asset for this game launcher will be available there, and also for the JSON in Unity series. So check that out. And if I click play game, it will close the application and launch the Unity game. Now you'll notice I did not remove the actual launcher for the Unity game itself, but that's very easy to do. Just a checkbox in the rendering options or the build options. So that should be no problem to do. But you notice it does launch it, and if I click play, it just works like it normally would. All it's doing is launching an exe. There's nothing else to it. We're not passing any data. It just launches the exe. And that is super easy to do, and I think it'd be pretty cool to show you guys how to do. So let's get started. I'm in Visual Studio here. I'm going to actually Visual Studio Community 2015. I'm going to create a new project, and I am going to create a WPF application. I'm going to call it Play the Value. That's going to name the project and the solution. Cool. Click OK. All right, so what we have is we have a blank slate, something to create our awesome application on. So what I'm going to do, first of all, I'm going to select my window, and I'm going to go over here and do a couple of things. First of all, I'm going to name the window Launcher Window. Cool. And I want to add a few components. I'm going to go to my toolbox over here, and I'm going to, as you see, I do have a library installed to handle Chromium, but we're not going to be working with that. We'll be working with the default WPF controls. And first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a label. So I'm going to grab label and just simply drag it and drop it on an application. Notice that down here in the XAML, it shows what we're doing, and it has all the values just like you would expect. But we can also control it in the WYSIWYG editor. Pretty cool. So if I double click on that label, I can type what I want it to say. And I want to say the valley, just like that. And now I'm going to select it here and I'm going to resize. Just like that. Looks good. Now with that selected, I'm going to go to my text over here. And I am going to, I guess we could bold it. And I'm going to make it about 14. Cool. And in the example, I also had a little version label. And it was just a text, just a label that I just placed right there. And I just typed in a hard-coded version. We can make it like something like 6 point. Let's make this 100% just so we can see how it actually looks. And that's a little small. Let's make it 8 point. And I want to make this a version 1.7. Just line that up. Line up the bottom there. I'm going to name the value label the game title. And I'm going to name the version label. Game title label. There we go. I believe I hit enter on both of those. And now just going down the application, and the next thing in line would be the web browser control. So I'm going to go to my toolbox. I'm going to go down here and I'm going to grab the web browser. Just want to drag that over there and drop it right there. Just adds it in the hierarchy here. Just keeps going down. Cool. I'm going to line this up. Bring it over there. And bring it down to about right there for now. Looks good. Now, I don't have, we've not made the actual website for this to pull from yet, so it's just going to be a blank browser. But for now, that'll work. What you would do when you fix that is you can go to comment and go to source and link it to where it's pulling the data from. But for now, we'll leave it just like that. And I'm going to make sure that this is linked to the side there so it stretches, and also to the bottom and the top. So it's going to stretch as we stretch the window. And this is just going to be anchored to the top left, and that's going to be anchored just to the top left as well. Now let's add a couple of buttons. I'm going to grab button. I'm going to drop it right here in the corner. Just going to place it right off the border there. And I'm going to resize this. None of this really matters. I just like doing it. So I'm going to go to appearance, and this once again does not matter, but you can, or not appearance, but brush. But I'm just going to show you how you can modify this very easily without having to go into a graphics program and creating images or anything. You can just modify the actual gradient and the border and stuff right in Visual Studio. So I'm going to do we are going to do a gradient. No, let's do a solid. We'll just do a solid. I'm going to make the background of this, just for now, just some color. And you can see how that works. And I'm going to go to the appearance. I'm going to turn the border down to none. I'm going to select the border brush, and I'm going to set it to none as well. And this will come together later on whenever we get some styling going on in here. But for now, that's going to be what we want. And I'm going to name this one a game launcher, or launch game button. And I'm just going to copy that button there and call this one launch, just like the example launch website button. Cool. We'll grab this and drag it over there. And I am going to make sure this is locked to the left and to the bottom. There it is. And that one to the bottom and the right, but not the left, just like that. Cool. So the content for these, this is going to say play game. And this is going to say view, I don't know, view website or something like that. Cool, looks good. So now what I want to do is I want to set up some colors for this. So the background, if we click on the actual window here and I go to background, I can add a gradient to the background. And boy, that's cool. So I'm going to select the left stop here, and I'm going to just pick a color I like. Again, you can do whatever you want to here. Go here, paste that color, and we're going to make it a bit darker. Cool. Going to select this and change the foreground of that color to be a white. So this one, the color on this one, going to paste that color I just copied in there and just darken it up a bit. And play game actually should probably be like a green color. Oh, not the foreground, the background. Cool. I hope you spend more time on yours than I do on mine. And if we just launch this, we can see what it looks like as a built application. I go to start under debug there, and it's going to play the application for us. And that's what we have. I mean, this you can resize it and everything moves as you would expect. Looks pretty good. Cool. So one thing I noticed is I want to make sure I name the application. So if I go to common under the actual window, I can name this the Valley or whatever. So there is our layout for the website. I want to, or not the website, the application. What I want to make sure I do though is I want to resize this because its default size is too small. Looks good. Okay, so now what I want to do though is I want to go ahead and start building out the website. Now this is going to be a very simple website. It's all going to be on one page. So I'm going to go to, I have brackets open here. You can use whatever code editor you want. I'm going to create a new file. HTML tags. I don't have my head tags. And we'll make a quick title. If you don't know anything about HTML, this is not going to be a good HTML tutorial. It'll just show you how to get it up and running for your application. But I do have some older tutorials on this channel covering HTML, CSS, and stuff like that. So if you want to check that out, be sure to do that. Like once again, this is not going to be very pretty stuff. Then I would just have straight styles on this page. No linking here, just straight on this page because it doesn't really matter. It's going to be just a few styles. It's going to be all built into one page and it has to work that way. So with my body here, so we'd have like an unordered list, and inside that we would have like 3 LIs for 3 list items, and each of these would be an update, and they would be there'd probably be a heading, but we don't have any kind of hierarchy going on here, so we're just going to start with H3. The first one we'll call like this is an update, right? And then under that we would have a paragraph tag, and this would be the content of the update. And if we wanted to, we could have an image under that, and we would have the source and the alt text for that. And that's how I'm going to lay this out. So instead of typing this out, I'm going to go over to my one I've already made. So now notice I have my list items have a class of game update, and everything else is the same, just with content within it. Looks good. So let's go ahead and style this real quick. I want to make sure that first of all we do just a simple box size here. So we're going to do a box sizing border box, just so our paddings and stuff, borders does not affect the actual size of our content boxes. And then we're going to work down the list here. So I'm going to start with my ULs. Do a list style of none. We don't want the bullet points on the side. Going to do LI. Make sure we reset any margin or padding. Do not want spacing that we do not have control of. And our H3, we have just a single heading. That's fine. We don't plan on using H1s, H2s, H4s. You can do whatever you want to here, but I'm going to just do a font size of 2.5, probably just 2M, and a color. Just going to put a color in. I'm going to right click on that in brackets and click quick edit, and I can select the color. Pretty cool. And we're also going to go to body on the top here and set a default color for all the text to be we'll just do some color there, just like that. And one important thing is, if we go ahead and look at this, if we do a live view in brackets here, this is going to open this up in a browser, and it's going to keep the updates synced to my actual copy here. It's going to keep refreshing for me when I make a change. It's pretty handy. So I suggest you get brackets if you plan on working in any kind of web development environment. Okay, so the problem I'm noticing now is my hex value from here is not actually a hex. And there's that color. I click save, and it updates automatically. Cool. I also want to make sure the background is a color, so we're going to do a body, going to do a background, and we're going to do... So I've changed a few colors here, just change the values up a bit to get a bit closer to where I was in the example. So one thing I want to do is I want to make sure that all the text just, for now, uses a font family. Uses a sans serif font, just whatever the default font is for the OS. Something like Arial, just like that. I just refreshed and broke that, I think, but whatever. LI will have a background, and we'll take a background. It'll be similar to our body background, but we'll lighten it up a bit. Just like that, cool. And on the LI, we'll add a padding. What is it doing? Padding, something like 1M. Oh, I'm resetting the padding below that. Makes no sense. Looks good. And now the margin, what I want to do is I want to have a margin on the bottom. It's going to separate these out a bit. So I'm going to do a margin bottom, and I'm going to do something like 1M. There we go. Now, noticing I don't like how the header text, the heading text, has a margin at the top. The margin top is 0. Does not matter because there's no content above the heading. There's just the actual border of our box. And also, if it's the last paragraph of the list item, I would like to make sure there's no margin below it, so you don't get that weird space at the end there. So to do that, I would do my p tag and do last child, and say if it is the last child of an element, I want to make sure that there is no margin bottom. Just like that, cool. Now, one thing that's going to happen is in our application, it's going to be a very small application, right? It's going to be something like probably no bigger than that. And that looks weird because the image is off the screen and we don't have it. It's not the size of the actual box. So to fix that, for now, I'm going to do a quick responsive image fix. It's going to be a simple width is 100%, and this had a max width so it doesn't get too big. Because the width is going to also retain the aspect ratio, so as it gets wider, it gets taller as well. And we don't want it to be so tall that it takes up the entire screen, so we can just set a max width to something like 600 pixels. So there we go, it resizes to the box, looks good. Now you'll notice there is a space on the left side here. If I inspect this in Chrome, it'll show us what it is. It's going to be with that list that we have. Notice the UL here has a padding on the left side of it. So to fix that, I would go to UL and I would say padding, just simply 0. We don't need any padding. There we go, looks good. Now I do believe the header, the H3 is too large, so do something like 1.35. And also I'm using an image that is pretty tall, so in our launcher it's going to take up a lot of space, and I have a cropped version of this, I believe. So what I want to do is I'm going to upload this to Google Drive, and I'm going to link it to its raw file. And the way I would do that, if I go to Google Drive, and I go to New, and I want to do a new file upload, and I want to select that file. It is right here. It's going to upload that file for me. Cool. I'm going to click locate. It's going to take me to it. And here it is. So I'm going to right click on that, and I can go to share. And I'm going to go to advanced. And I'm going to go to change. I don't want it to be private only for me. I'm going to do public on the web. And I'll click save. Now I'm doing this only because I'm using Google Drive as an example. You probably want to use your own web host if you're using this for a commercial game. But then I'm going to take this jumble of numbers and uppercase letters here, and I want to copy that. That is the ID for this item. I want to go to Google Drive, googledrive.com/host/paste in that code you just copied. It's going to take you directly to the raw file. So it's just hosting just this image. So I can copy that, go to brackets, and replace this original source. Now I'm just stealing this off of xbox.com for an example. But take the original source and replace it with our hosted source. And if we refresh this page, after it downloads and caches it, we now have the smaller image that we cropped. Just a simple crop in Photoshop, nothing worth showing you. And it's now working as it should. So this looks pretty good. This is how I'd expect it to look. We could get fancier with it, but there's no need to right now. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to upload this single file website. It's just an HTML file. I'm going to upload this to Google Drive the same way we just did that one file. Click done on that. I'm going to go to new. I'm going to go to file upload. I'm going to find the file I just created, the value updates.html. I'm going to open that. I'm going to upload it to Google Drive for me. Find it here, right click on that, and I'm going to do once again share, advanced, change it to where more than just me can view it. I'm going to copy the code here, just like that. Go here, go to Google drive.com/host/that code. Now, you may think this is a tedious workflow, but once you have this up, all you have to do is go to Google Drive and find the file, the HTML file, right click on it and click manage versions and upload a new version each time you have an update. And then you don't have to do all this again. It keeps the same link each time. So it's not that difficult if you do actually want to use Google Drive for it, but I wouldn't really suggest it. I would suggest using your own web host. So now I have the website hosted on a web server. Pretty cool. It works the same as it does locally. And our link is this right here. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go into Visual Studio. The whole idea for this is to build an application after all. I'm going to click on the web browser control. I'm going to go to source under common and paste that in. I'm going to click start. Now the colors aren't going to match because this color is entirely different to the colors we used in the web application, but that's fine. Alright, so what's happening here is it's loading it in. Everything's working fine, looks good. That's what we wrote, that's what we did, but there's still a margin there, or a padding there, and I'm not actually sure why. If we look at it on the live server, there's not. Oh, I bet IE actually has a margin instead of a padding, don't they? So if I go to my UL, because we're testing it in Chrome, but our web browser component uses an older version of IE, and as we know, IE sucks. So we have to make sure what we do is IE friendly. So I save that out like that. I go to show you an example of how to update this now, because I talked about doing it. I go to the website, right click on it, click manage versions, and just do upload new version. And find the file, upload it, launch the application. And there you go. So that was just a simple browser compatibility issue which is something you'll run into 90% of the time. So now what we need to do, since we have a way to update the browser with, or the actual application with new data from a web server. Now you could just do this in like a JSON format, pull it down and run through it and pull out the title, the image, the post content, and then create a label, an image component, and a text area component. But this was an easier way to handle it, and it's quick and pretty effective. So let's wire up our buttons now, make them do something. So we're going to create a couple events for these buttons. So they need a click event, need to know what to do whenever you click on them. So I'm going to double click on play game. What it's going to do is open it up in the code, and it's going to create a click event with the appropriate parameters for my launch game button. Now, I can do something whenever that button is clicked, and I can also do something whenever this button is clicked. But we're not going to hard code this in the actual, in the main window class. What we're going to do is we're going to create another class. I'm going to right click on play the valley. I'm going to go to add, I'm going to go to new item. And we could create a library for this, but this example doesn't have enough stuff to really justify a library. So I'm just going to create a simple class. I'm going to call it just launcher. So class launcher. Now we're going to create a couple of methods. It's going to be a public. I'm going to call this play game. And then I'm going to have another method. Launch website. Now I think it'd be cool if this was a universal kind of thing. So if we were to pass it a string for the URL to launch, so they could have different buttons in the application that go to different websites. So if there's like a wiki and you have like a drop down menu that says help or tutorials or guides, and you click on the drop down, you can click on different sections of the wiki and it'll take you to the web page. That's pretty cool, I think. So we could do that. And now for all this to work, we need a certain namespace. We're going to be using, I believe it's system.diagnostics. Now this is going to allow us to start a process. So when I call play game, what I want to do is I want to do process dot start. And now if you see what this takes a string for the file name. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass it the name of my games exe. It's going to be game.exe. And that's going to launch the exe in the best way that Windows can handle launching it. So it's going to handle all that crazy crap for us and just launch the exe as it should be launched. Now what's cool is we can also use this method to launch a website. So what I'll do is I'll pass it a URL, and it will try to find the default browser and pass that parameter to the browser to search for that, and it will load up that web page for you, all with a single line. Pretty cool. So now let's go back into the code for our form. On launch game button click, I'm going to go to launcher, and I'm going to play game. Oh wait, those weren't static, were they? Alright, so now that they're static, we can access them no problem without creating a new launcher instance. We have no reason to have a new launcher instance because these will only ever be used just like this. And now this requires a parameter, so when you click launch a website button, I want to make sure you launch a website, and as an example, I will use my website. Okay, cool. So now we have a layer for handling the actual program. Then we have the front end that handles sending data from the front end to the back end to handle the processing. That's pretty cool. So we're to launch this now. If we were to save this and launch, we can't really play the game because we don't have a game.exe in the test directory, but we should be able to visit the website. I click visit website, it launches up my browser, and it creates a new tab because it's smart. Chrome knows what I'm doing. and it goes directly to that website. That's pretty cool. So what I want to do is I want to now, well, first of all, this looks pretty bad, right? The colors don't match at all. So I want to grab the background for the light. And so it makes it all look a little bit better. We're going to go to the background, so I'm going to change the first off to that color, and the first voice to be correct format, and that color will lighten this up. So let's do a harsh green on that. Like so. And I think that's fine, actually. Looks good. So now see how this works whenever I build this out. So I'm going to go to build, and still under debug, just going to do a quick build, and I'm going to build, play the valley. Build succeeded, great. So I'm going to go to where that build out. Mine is building in my documents, Visual Studio 2015, projects, play the valley, bin, debug. So build out here, I have an exe. All I need for this test is exe. So I'm going to Control C on the exe. I'm going to go to my desktop. I'm going to launch. Now this is the test that I used at the beginning. It's called game.exe, just as an example. I'm going to paste in play the valley, launch that. Now we have Avast is doing its thing to it. Give Avast a second to not be stupid. Thanks, Avast, for protecting me from my own applications. Alright, so we now have a safe the Valley launcher. So what I can do now is notice it works the same. I mean, we have a standalone application. It's pretty cool. Click visit website, takes me to the website, awfulmedia.com. Click play game. It is going to launch the game. Now, it did not close the application. You may not want it to close the application. It's up to you, but if you do, we'll do a simple hard close, like a hard quit, to make sure that everything associated with this is gone. Do an environment dot exit. That's gonna make sure there's no process running from this, and this takes an argument to give it an exit code. We're gonna be using 0. I'm gonna build, play the valley. I want to stop my debugging. Yes. All right. I go back to debug. Now I have the updated play the valley there. I'm gonna go back to this folder. Just make sure we just delete that one. Oh, it's running. Paste in the new one. Launch it. Click play game. Exits the application. Loads up the game. And that's going to do it for this video, guys. I look forward to doing more stuff like this. This is it's not necessarily game development, right? But it has a lot to do with game development. I think that's going to be a pretty well received thing on the channel. I hope it is, at least, because I enjoy doing it. Have any questions, ask me in the comments below. Want to see more stuff, be sure to subscribe. My name is Austin, and I will see you next time.